Picture this. You're sitting at your kitchen table on a Tuesday evening, feeling pretty good about yourself. You just paid off your credit card balance in full. You log into your banking app, check your savings account, and watch that little number tick up by $50. It feels like a win. But then you glance over at your desk and see that tiny, forgotten store card bill, or that $50 medical copay statement from 3 months ago. You think to yourself, it's only $50. I'll deal with it later. Suddenly, a cold wave of anxiety hits you. Wait, am I completely ruining my financial future over something this small? It is incredibly easy to fall into this trap. On one hand, you are doing the big things right, like showing up to work and trying to build a savings buffer. On the other hand, these tiny insignificant debts keep slipping through the cracks. It feels completely harmless because the numbers are so small, but the hidden math behind them is doing serious damage to your wealth. In this video, we're going to break down exactly what happens to your money if you ignore small debts, how they secretly drain your bank account, and the simple system you can use to wipe them out forever. My name is Jack, and I spend way too much time thinking about the psychology of everyday money. If you're someone who feels financially stuck despite doing some things right, make sure to hit the subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up if it helps you out. Here's the thing. We have been conditioned to believe that only massive debts matter. We worry about the $20,000 car loan or the mountain of student debt. We think a $20 subscription fee we forgot to cancel or a $100 lingering utility bill from an old apartment can just sit there. We assume that because the number doesn't have 3 or 4 zeros behind it, it can't hurt us. That assumption is a financial illusion. Small debts are like tiny termites in the foundation of your house. One termite won't collapse the building, but 100 of them working quietly in the dark will completely rot the structure from the inside out. This is where it gets really interesting. Let's look at how the actual numbers play out in the real world. Imagine 2 people, Sarah and Alex. Both earn $60,000 a year. Both manage to save $300 a month. They look identical on paper, but Sarah has 3 tiny ignored debts. She has an old gym membership fee of $80 that went to collections, $150 left on a retail store card she forgot about, and a $70 library, fine and parking ticket combo she keeps putting off. Total debt. Just $300. Alex has 0 debt. He owes absolutely nothing to anyone. Because Sarah ignored those small debts, her credit score took a massive hit, dropping from a good score of 740 down to a poor score of 620. A few months later, both Sarah and Alex go to buy a reliable used car and need a $15,000 auto loan. With his 740 credit score, Alex qualifies for a clean 5% interest rate. His monthly payment is $283. Over the 4-year loan, he pays a total of $1,584 in interest. Sarah, with her 620 score caused by those tiny ignored debts, only qualifies for an 18% interest rate. Her monthly payment jumps to $380. Over the exact same 4-year loan, Sarah pays an astronomical $6,240 in interest. Look at that gap. Sarah paid $4,656 more than Alex for the exact same car. Her $300 of ignored small debt just cost her over $4,000 in cold, hard cash. That is money that could have been sitting in her high-yield savings account, earning interest for her future. Instead, it vanished into the pockets of a lender. Here's what most people don't realize about this situation. The financial system doesn't penalize you based on the size of your debt. It penalizes you based on your behavior. When a bank looks at your credit report, they don't see a stressed-out human who just forgot a small bill. They see a mathematical risk profile. To a lender, someone who ignores a $50 bill is just as unpredictable as someone who ignores a $5,000 bill. It signals a lack of organization and control. Our brains are naturally wired to categorize things by size. We see a giant rock in the road, and we steer clear of it. We see a tiny pebble, and we step right on it without thinking. But in personal finance, those tiny pebbles carry an incredible amount of emotional weight. Every single piece of ignored debt takes up mental bandwidth. You might think you're ignoring it, but every time you open your mail or log into your email, that tiny ping of guilt hits your stomach. It drains your financial confidence. It makes you feel like someone who is bad with money, which subconsciously causes you to make even worse financial decisions down the line. To break this cycle and protect your cash, you need a realistic, actionable system. We call this the Micro Debt Clearance Framework. It consists of 4 specific steps designed to clean up your financial slate without burning through your entire paycheck. Step 1 is the financial audit drill. You cannot fix what you cannot see. Sit down for exactly 20 minutes this weekend. Open up a blank document and list every single entity that you owe money to, no matter how small. If you owe your brother $20 for pizza, write it down. If you have an unpaid $10 medical bill, write it down. Strip away the hiding places. Step 2 is the capital allocation rule. Look at your savings. If you have a small emergency fund, use a tiny portion of it to wipe out any debt under $100 immediately. Yes, it lowers your savings total for a brief second, but it stops the bleeding. It removes the operational drag of having 5 different bills hanging over your head. Step 3 is the automation lock. For any small lingering bills that recur, like old subscriptions or utility balances, set up an automatic minimum payment structure. Do not trust your human brain to remember a $12 fee every month. Lock it into the technology so it happens quietly in the background while you sleep. Step 4 is the credit restoration monitor. Once those small debts are paid, request a simple validation letter from the providers to ensure they report the balance as 0 to the credit bureaus. This is the exact mechanism that starts pulling your credit score back up into the safety zone. To understand why this matters so deeply, think about a massive luxury cruise ship out in the open ocean. A cruise ship can survive giant waves. It can navigate through intense storms because it is built to handle heavy external pressure. But if that same ship develops 5 tiny, microscopic holes in the very bottom of the hull, and the crew ignores them because they are only the size of a coin, what happens? Water slowly, steadily seeps into the engine room. The pumps get overwhelmed. Eventually, the entire ship sinks. Your financial life is that cruise ship. The giant waves are your rent or your mortgage. You plan for them. But the tiny ignored debts are those coin-sized holes at the bottom of the hull. They don't make a loud noise, but they are quietly sinking your wealth. Now you might be thinking, Jack, I genuinely don't have the extra cash right now to pay off these small debts because inflation is high and my budget is stretched to the absolute limit. That is a completely valid frustration, and I hear you. It feels insulting to be told to pay off extra bills when buying groceries feels like a luxury. Here's what most people don't realize. Ignoring the debt doesn't freeze the cost. It actually multiplies it. If you leave a $50 utility bill unpaid, the company doesn't just wait patiently. They add a late fee. Then they add a collection fee. Then it hits your credit report, which raises the insurance premium on your car and increases the interest rate on your next credit card. By trying to save $50 today, you are accidentally signing up to pay $500 over the next 12 months. Facing the small number now, even if it means sacrificing a couple of coffees, is the cheapest financial exit strategy you will ever find. Let's do a quick summary recap of the Micro Debt Clearance Framework so you can execute it perfectly. First, execute the financial audit drill by listing every single debt you owe, down to the exact penny. Second, apply the capital allocation rule to immediately pay off any lingering balance under $100. Third, initiate the automation lock so that recurring small balances are paid off by software instead of human memory. Fourth, use the credit restoration monitor to ensure your clean payment. History is officially reported to protect your score. The ultimate emotional truth of money is that financial freedom isn't achieved by a single massive stroke of luck. It is built through a series of tiny, boring, disciplined habits that protect your peace of mind. When you clean up the small messes in your financial life, you create the mental space to focus on the big things, like building true wealth and enjoying your life without that constant undercurrent of anxiety. You deserve to look at your banking app and feel absolute peace, not a lingering sense of dread about a forgotten bill. And I'm curious about something. What is the single smallest, most annoying micro debt you've been putting off paying lately? Let me know in the comments below, and let's hold each other accountable to get them cleared out this week. Don't forget to subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video.